Hello and welcome to round 2 of our JCW Mini UK Tour at Oulton Park. This video is going to cover the feature race, which is a 30-minute race with a mandatory pit stop in it. Before we get into the race, the current championship standings is as on the screen now. We managed to squeeze out an extra 10 points on Mr. Ellis in the last race, and Dixon has jumped Bailey now into 3rd place. Our race today is a 30-minute race starting at 4 o'clock. Our weather forecast is cloudy to overcast and going into a sprinkle of rain at the end. So similar to how we had it at Brands Hatch, and Brands Hatch ended up being fraught at the end. So plan of attack here is to really go aggressive, try and build a gap in the early part of the race, try and keep the pit stop as short as possible and build as much of a gap so that we can cover off any scares that the weather may bring us. We have a mandatory pit stop, so everyone's got to stop, and even if you didn't have it being mandatory, the fuel tank capacity of the Mini forces it anyway, because you won't do 30 minutes with the 2 times fuel usage we currently have set. So you would have to do a pit stop for fuel regardless. So our starting grid is as per the finishing order of the sprint race. So we're starting on pole with Dixon in 2nd and Ellis in 3rd. We're going to have quite an interesting race, I think, this one. The end could be really quite fraught, so I'm quite keen to get started. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Get that covered off from Ellis, nice and early. Let's get after Dixon now. So focus on getting a gap now. Build up this lead as much as we can before we have to pit. Now Brands Hatch had a really sunny section before the rain started to come, and this is going to be overcast before the rain comes. It'll be interesting to see if the rain, when it comes, how long we can stay on slicks for. But unlike Brands Hatch, I'm quite tempted to hang out how long I can pit for as long as possible this time, rather than come in at 15 minutes, just see what the situation is. Oops. And that line can work for you actually. If you overcook it, you can square it off. You don't lose as much as it feels. Unless you go too far with it, of course. quick in. And there as well. Alright, need to relax a little bit, I think, Andrew. Yeah, just overdriving a little bit. Let's rein it in a little bit. Again. Get too late on the brakes on the way in. My cat's come to say hello. Nails. No track limits. Surprised about that. It's really quite surprising how much you can use in race conditions. You can use a lot more in race than you can in qualifying. Yeah, it's nowhere near as strict in the race. Yeah, so I'm wondering if the overcast nature of the forecast up to when the rain's supposed to hit us, and it's only supposed to be light rain still, but I'm wondering if the overcast nature of it in that middle phase is going to mean that the track sort of gets wetter sooner. Which I suppose would make sense. Well, my theory is that it's not going to have the sun on it, so it's not going to be as warm, and it's not going to evaporate the light rain as much, so it should get wetter faster. That's my theory, and that's my concern. Ooh, get off there, Andrew. Get off of that curb. That is nasty, that one. So yeah, let's hang it out as long as we can, and it'll be fuel that means we have to pit. It'll be the fuel that forces us in the pits. So we'll get as far as we can. So about 19 laps I think is about right. We'll probably get away with 18, especially if it's going to be wet at the end. Let's assume slicks for now. Okay. But we might well be changing that to wets. Litres of fuel left. Which is about 5 laps, give or take. Doing a very good job of simulating the feeling of overcast weather. And it feels muggy, even this side of the screen. Feels like damp in the air. I see spots of rain. So hopefully in the next 2 laps we'll have an answer as to whether we want slicks or wets on. Yeah, we'll see how it, if we lose, because at Brands Hatch we were able to hold our slicks on the damp track for quite some time. If my theory about the overcast weather before the rain hits us is true, then I would hope we'll see a loss of grip before that. So we've got 2 more laps of fuel. Hopefully that'll be long enough to make a decision. Right, okay. Right. Okay, we're definitely losing grip quite quickly now. Decisions. I've got to make a decision soon. It's still nowhere near wet enough for wets. But we are losing grip very rapidly. Okay, we're going to lose a lot. Okay, wets. Even if I've got to nurse them for 2 laps. We've got... Right, where are we? So, wets. I'd like to pit, please. And yes. Right. Decision made. Time will tell if it's the right one or not. We're losing over 2 seconds a lap, and that's only going to get worse now. And there, oh. So we are going to be slower to start with, but we won't have to pit again. Whereas I think the others are going to have to pit again. Typically, the clouds don't look that bad over there, do they? Oh well, this might prove to be the wrong decision. Hello Ellie. I love you too, yes. Good girl. Fingers crossed. Let's go a bit easy on these, won't we, to start with? This is why we built a 10-second lead. Oh dear. No, 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 no. This is why we built a 10-second lead, so we could... Oh dear. It's not looking good, is it? So the first part of the lap's by far and away the wettest. Very little grip. Just hope that we're on the wet bit so we can gain a lot more than we lose on the dry for now, and that the whole track becomes wetter and wetter. I mean, I wouldn't want to be on slicks on this bit. Not now. Let's increase the ABS a bit, I think. Oh, it was already quite high. Okay, 5 is fine. Oh, that's awful. Never known a tyre to have so little grip in the dry. They've got more grip in the wet than they have in the dry. Yeah, so the wets have far more feel to them in the wet sections than they do in the dry sections. It's just like they're just dead. They're weird. and they're really closing in fast. They've halved that gap almost. How is... Now if they're on slicks, there's absolutely no way, not on this, not when it's like this. This will be like ice if you're on slicks. Oh well, if we have to give up places, we've got to give up places. You make your choices, don't you? I'm very glad that we built up that big gap. Yeah, it's just like there. It's like, it's relatively dry there, but there's just no feeling whatsoever from the tyres. Same here. So they are seconds a lap faster than us. But I guarantee if I'd have been on slicks, I'd have been, well, I'd have been in the fence by now. I'd love to know what tyres they're on. We're not going to win this, are we? Well, I assume they're on slicks then. Sorry, there's something going on here. This is weird. I get driven around the outside of on the hairpin, and they don't lose anything in the wet. No. Okay, it's just wrong. I'm not a sore loser. I don't like losing. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a sore loser either. But this is just silly. There is a difference here that cannot be accounted for in anything I do. think so, Jacob. And I can hear the rain coming up from the tyres. Well, we did well to finish second there, I think. Whew. Yeah, I'm not a sore loser, but I at least want to fight with the same equipment and the same rules. And there's something going on there. I mean, yeah, I mean, got driven around the outside by Ellis. And then when it comes to a track that looks like this does now, they're still just as quick. Nah, sorry, that's not right. As a player, what, you know, it just means you don't want to play in those conditions, because what's the point, you know? What is the point? Then we kind of knew it was coming, didn't we? I mean, the reason I built up the gap at in the first part of the race was because I knew this was coming, having been to Brands Hatch and experienced what happened there, where we lost like 13 seconds in about 2 laps. Again, I was on slicks in similar conditions to that, probably a bit not quite as bad as that possibly until later on. Yeah, so before it got as bad as that at Brands Hatch, you know, we're all on slicks, and they basically clawed in 13 seconds in about 2 laps, and it's only a short lap at Brands Hatch, isn't it? So, yeah, I mean, look at it, look at the spray, and they're on slicks. Guarantee it, they're on slicks, and yet they don't lose any speed. Literally, I can wheel spin in second gear at will, even in third, with wets on. Yeah, anyway, it is what it is. Just gotta play the hand you're dealt, haven't you? That's all you can do. Right, let's get it back to the pits and have a look at the times. In your own time, mate. No rush. Happy and disappointed, I suppose. Yeah, very, very glad we did that first part of the race the way we did it. Very, very glad I went on to wets. I'm still convinced it was the right decision to make in this situation. It definitely got wetter a lot quicker than it did at Brands Hatch. Had I been on slicks, I'd have been in the gravel or in the fence. Very, very. I mean, literally in the first lap on there, it was nearly off, wasn't I? So even with wets on. And I reckon they'd have been 10-20 seconds a lap faster than me had I not have had wets on, I reckon. Okay, I'm not going to keep going on about this, but I am just going to do this one little bit and then I'm going to leave it there and never mention it again. So this is the cool down lap after the race, and I just want to see what tyres we're on compared to what tyres first of all Ellis is on, and then I'll maybe go back to Bell and Dixon as well. So let's pause that there. We're in chase, so let's come down. Can we get a bit closer to see? It's difficult to tell there, isn't it? Let's see if we can get a bit. See what we'll do. Let's go back to the hairpin. because that will tell us, won't it? Because it was drier there, wasn't it? Right, so right, so you can quite clearly see here I've got wets on. There's absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. We can see the tread pattern quite clearly there. Ellis, quite clearly on slicks. How on earth is he holding the lines he's holding in those wet sections on slicks? Bell, clearly on slicks. Yep, clearly on slicks. Dixon, again, clearly on slicks. Shaw is on slicks. Freeman's on. So all of the top. Well, let's just do the top 10. Let's just do the top 10. Difficult to see that one, isn't it? That one looks like slicks, though, to be fair. McKenna, clearly slicks. Low, clearly slicks. And Collins, clearly slicks. So all of the top 10, apart from me, are on slicks. And yet all of them were absolutely hustling me in coming up to almost the wettest part of the track. And they took out that 13-second lead in about, what, 2.5, 3 laps? It was gone. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. All right, I think I've made my point quite nicely. So, yeah. We'll do the points tallies shortly. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and I hope you still enjoyed a good race. I mean, it's still a good race. I still enjoyed it, but it does take away a little bit of the edge, a little bit of the shine, when it feels like you've turned up to a gunfight with a butter knife. But it is what it is. I still enjoyed it. What more can you ask for, really? Right. Until the next time, thank you for watching, and we'll see you later.